The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. You guys knew that one. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness, right? So we're going to praise the Lord. All right, you guys excited? Yeah? All right. Blessing and honor, glory and power be unto the Ancient of Days. From every nation, all of creation, bow before the Ancient of Days. Every tongue in heaven and earth shall declare your glory. Every knee shall bow at your throne. In worship you will be exalted, O God, and your kingdom shall not pass away, O Ancient of Days. Blessing and honor, glory and power be unto the Ancient of Days. From every nation, all of creation, bow before the Ancient of Days. Every tongue in heaven and earth shall declare your glory. Every knee shall bow at your throne. In worship you will be exalted, O God, and your kingdom shall not pass away, O Ancient of Days. Over all the earth, singing to the Ancient of Days. Your kingdom shall reign over all the earth, singing to the Ancient of Days. Yeah, none can compare to your matchless worth, singing to the Ancient of Days. Shall not pass away, O Ancient of Days. You are, O Ancient of Days. You're the Ancient of Days.
Kids, if you are in the room and you would like to go to Kids Zone, now's the time. You guys can head off to meet your teacher. My name's Christy Peck. I'm the Next Generation pastor here, and I am so glad to be worshiping here with you this morning. There's a few things that I'd love to tell you about, but first, if you're new with us, we're glad that you're here. We're glad that you found us, and we would love to connect with you. You can do that by filling out our connection card. The information is just going to be passed along to myself and Pastor Piet so that one of us can reach out to you just to see if you have any questions about North River or if there's any way that we can come alongside you here. We also have a welcome pack for you. So if you haven't gotten one of those and you've been here a few times, we'd love for you to pick one of those up at our welcome desk. It's got some information about our ministries and a special gift for you. So make sure that you pick one of those up on your way out. A few things I'd love to share with you. We are a vibrant, active church. We've got things going on, and one of those things is serving our neighbors through the ministry of Father Bills, which is an outreach to provide food for those who have food insecurity. We will be packing some meals and distributing those Those dates are up on the screen behind me. If you'd like to get involved, if you'd like to volunteer, we encourage you to register to volunteer at northriverchurch.org/go-team. Also, as you know, we've had a lot of snow this winter, surprisingly. We haven't had this much snow in a long time. But with that and with the cold come some challenges for people who may be struggling financially. And so one of the other things that we do here to serve people is through our deacons team. We have a fund that is available for those who are experiencing financial difficulty to help make payments on crucial things in their lives as we all kind of struggle through winter together. If you're interested in helping to support that, you can give online at northriverchurch.org/give and just selecting the Deacons Fund there. And all of that money goes to supporting folks here in the church and outside of the church who are in need. Lastly, it is school vacation week. Who's excited? All right, we've got a few excited young people, and I'm not sure about the parents right now. I'm not sure you're excited. But we do have some things for you to do. So if you have elementary school-age kiddos, you have 2 opportunities this week to get them out of the house and out of the cold and playing with their friends and getting all the energy out. We have got an art day coming up and a Lego day coming up. Again, the dates are up here on the screen, and you can get more info at North River Church. As we worship this morning, just reflecting back on the song that we just sang, there was a lot of interesting language in there. We're talking about blessing and honor and the Ancient of Days. And sometimes, it's like, where did that songwriter come up with those words? Well, again, I want to point out that so much of what we sing when we come to worship God in this place, so much of it comes right out of the Bible. And it helps when we look at where these lyrics came from. And so part of that song talked about every tongue confessing and every knee bowing before God. And so I just want to read this scripture this morning before we continue on in worship. It comes from Philippians chapter 2, verses 6 through 11. And he's talking about Jesus here in this letter to Philippians. Though he was God, he did not think of equality with God as something to cling to. Instead, he gave up his divine privileges. He took the humble position of a slave and was born as a human being. When he appeared in human form, he humbled himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on a cross. Therefore, God elevated him to the place of highest honor and gave him the name above all other names, that at the name of Jesus, every knee should bow in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue declare that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. You see, it's to Jesus that we are singing about, because the Bible tells us that one day every knee will bow and every tongue will declare that he is God and worthy of our praise. So why don't we all stand together this morning and to continue declaring those things.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound, amazing love, now flowing down from hands and feet that were nailed to the tree. Your grace flows down and covers me. Covers me, covers me. covers me. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Amazing love, now flowing down from hands and feet that were nailed to the tree. Oh, your grace falls down and covers me. Covers me. It covers me. It covers me. It covers me. Oh, you cover me. 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 And it covers me. Covers me. My sin, my shame, cover my sin, cover my shame. You cover my sin, cover my shame. I'm white as snow with you. I'm white as snow with you. I'm white as snow with you. Draw me close to you. Never let me go. I lay it all down again to hear you say that I'm your friend. You are my desire. No one else will do. There's nothing else can take your place. To feel the warmth of your embrace. Help me find a way. Oh, bring me back to you. Oh, you're all I want.
I was listening to that song, and I get emotional every time I hear it because it was the song that was played at my dad's funeral. My dad passed after a tragic accident, sailing accident in June of 2009. He just left one morning, just like he normally did, and we're not really sure what happened, but he fell off the boat, and several hours later, they found him just like on the surface of the water. And I got frantic calls from my mom, and she said, I don't know what we're going to do, but we just lost Dad today. And you can imagine, right, what that was like for the family. We all, of course, dropped everything. We went out to Florida where my parents lived, and some relatives came over from the Netherlands, and friends came, and there was such care and kindness shown to our family during that season. And one of the most gracious things that was done was that several staff members from the church I was serving in Missouri came out to Florida to be with us. And my creative arts pastor at the time played this song, Be Near, at the close of the funeral. And I will never forget it. And every time I hear that song, my eyes well up with tears. I have, like, how am I going to get into this message? He had planned the song before he knew the story. And I was like, okay, I guess we're going to go all the way there. And then I thought, you know what? It actually fits beautifully. Because today we're going to talk a little bit about graciousness. And I think you guys already get this at a pretty deep level. As I've been getting to meet people and talk to people, I have heard story after story where people have said something like, if it weren't for North River, I don't know where I would be. I can't even count the number of times I've already heard that. And then I hear about all the other things that you guys are doing with the Go team and the care team and the prayer team and the Deacons Fund. And it's just like you're already in this very grace-giving place. In fact, it's one of the things that I've been most attracted to about this church. And it's not just something that you've done for others, you've done it for me. So right here, just a couple of pictures of various things that people have done. They've opened up their home to me. They've let me borrow their cars. They've brought over meals. And it's just been so good. I've been so spoiled. And it's not just for me. It's also, you've done it for Carol. You've sent her messages, sent her texts. And the good news is that she's so taken by your kindness, she's going to be coming up here in 2 weeks just to make sure it's real. And so that's one of the reasons why we've changed the date for the one we had to cancel. That the potluck and the game night, we had to cancel that because of weather. And so we're going to do it on the weekend she's here. So you have a whole new reason now to put that on your calendar. February 28th, Saturday night, we're going to be gathering here. You're like, oh, well, if we're getting a chance to see Carol, let's come. Yeah? We can see you anytime, Pete, but we'll come and see Carol. And it's just so moving to me that this graciousness that we are going to talk about today is already very evident in this church. It's part of your heart. And sometimes because you're so close to it, you don't realize how special and unique it is. Because the fact of the matter is that when we actually go out of here into the quote-unquote real world, people experience something very different. It looks a whole lot more like this.
Where are the bells for this track? Why is that one red? so different.
Something funny?
Oh. No, nothing's, it's just that both of those belts look exactly the same to me. I'm still learning about this stuff and,
This stuff? Oh, okay. I see. You think this has nothing to do with you. You go to your closet and you select, I don't know, that lumpy blue sweater, for instance, because you're trying to tell the world that you take yourself too seriously to care about what you put on your back. But what you don't know is that that sweater is not just blue. It's not turquoise. It's not lapis. It's actually cerulean. And you're also blithely unaware of the fact that in 2002, Oscar de la Renta did a collection of cerulean gowns. And then I think it was Yves Saint Laurent, wasn't it, who showed cerulean military jackets. I think we need a jacket here. And then cerulean quickly showed up in the collections of 8 different designers. And then it filtered down through the department stores and then trickled on down into some tragic casual corner where you no doubt fished it out of some clearance bin. However, that blue represents millions of dollars and countless jobs. And it's sort of comical how you think that you've made a choice that exempts you from the fashion industry when in fact you're wearing a sweater that was selected for you by the people in this room from a pile of stuff.
You see, that's the world that we step into, isn't it, after we leave church? When you wake up tomorrow, that's the kind of thing that you all have to process. That's the kind of reaction that you'll get to your stepping into that world. And I don't understand it all, but there are people who seem to take great pleasure in being cruel, being mean, and dismissive. And when you are in that space where you're experiencing that kind of reaction, what goes on in your own heart? Well, I'll assume that maybe you feel a little bit like me. We do 2 things. We coil back and we live in shame, or we react and we say, oh yeah, you think you got something? And then we come back with something bitter and resentful, and all that graciousness that we can display at church somehow gets lost in the mix of everyday life. And that's what causes us such hardship. Because one thing is for sure, we will not react lukewarmly. Well, you don't know the word lukewarmly? Tia, do we have to inform them of what this word is? Go ahead, tell them what lukewarmly means. Go ahead, stand up, just tell them. These old people, we just don't know, some of us. What does lukewarmly mean?
It's a mix of the word low-key and genuinely.
All right, so thank you. We are now going to go home with a bit more vocabulary. You can now use this in your everyday life. Lukewarmly is not how we typically react when we are faced with the harshness of our everyday life, right? Now, what I'm doing in this series is I'm suggesting that there are virtues that we are trying to grow in as believers. So there's a certain joy that comes from becoming more, and last week we talked about courage. There's a joy in becoming more courageous. It's not easy in this world. And I suggested that in order for us to become more courageous, we have to deal with the fear that often sets us back. And courage is, in fact, in many ways, the foundational virtue, because if we don't have the intestinal fortitude to be courageous enough to do something here or there, then we're not going to develop any kind of virtue. So that's where we started. Now today, I want to talk about this growth in graciousness. That in our world, we need to see more graciousness, and it's hard against the harshness and the disrespect that we often feel in our everyday life. So I'm not going to suggest that it is an easy thing for us to do. But I'm also going to suggest that it may be the most important thing we do. You'll probably recognize this image. That's right. Yeah, I'm not going to do the eye roll moment where I pretend you haven't already thought about this, because you already have. You think about this a lot, but this image is a very familiar image. It's called the Tank Man. The actual identity of the person in this picture is unknown. It was a photo taken in June 5th of 1989. Some of you might remember this. It is a photo that was taken after the demonstration in Tiananmen Square by protesters who were trying to promote democracy in China, and it was shut down. And the next day, there were a series of tanks that made their way to Tiananmen Square, and this man stood in front of the tanks, and every time it tried to get around him, he just kind of moved. And this photo was taken by a Western journalist at a hotel in Beijing. It's an infamous photo, but nobody knows who this man is. Despite the efforts of human rights groups and journalists, nobody has been able to find him. Some assume that maybe he was executed. Others think he just kind of lived his life in anonymity. But the thing is, it remains this symbol of courageous graciousness. I love this particular statement. For years, the image has become a global symbol of individual courage and nonviolent resistance against overwhelming state power. And while it is one of the most recognizable photos in the world, it remains heavily censored in mainland China. Now, here's the question I want to pose. How many of you believe, and you don't have to raise your hand, but just like in your heart, how many of you believe that this one act of courageous graciousness has a better shot of dealing with the harshness in this world than all the get-evenism that we see out there? How many of you think that might be true? Maybe the more important question is, how many of you would like to be that guy? I would. I know I'm not there yet. I know I have some grace in me, but I'm not sure I have that kind of graciousness. And so I too find myself in a position where I'm saying, like, Lord, I want to know the joy of becoming more gracious. And so the question that we're faced with today is, what is the key linchpin challenge point to becoming more gracious? Last week we said, hey, the key linchpin challenge point with courage is fear. What do you think is the linchpin challenge point with becoming more gracious? And I don't think it's as obvious as what we were talking about last week, because I believe that what stands in the way of growth and graciousness is our pride. And you might be like, well, I'm not sure how that plays out. Well, just think about this for a minute. When you see something on social media, or you get an email that just kind of distresses you, or you're just in a conversation and you get hooked, what is it that hooks you? Like what troubles you, and why are you troubled about it? And I think at the end of the day, what we'll discover is that what troubles us is that our ego or our pride has been hurt. We've been offended by something. In fact, let me just give you a couple examples. When you find yourself saying something like, well, that wasn't fair. Why do you, like, what got hooked? Well, because I didn't deserve it. Or, I didn't like how they said that. What got triggered? Well, that's not me. How could they do that? Well, what's behind the offense? Well, that hurt my feelings. Right? We have those reactions, and things get stuck inside us, and we're like, I don't want to be that way. I don't want to react that way. And if we do, then what do we have to deal with? Our pride. Now, here's the thing that I think may get stuck along the way, and that is that sometimes when we're in this position, we say things like, yeah, I wish I just was more gracious here. I just was more gracious here. But I'm not sure that's the right way to think about it. Because when you are a follower of Jesus, you already have grace in your heart, grace in your life. And that's one of the best parts of becoming a Christian. I know some of you are still trying to sort that out. But when you become a follower of Christ, there is a grace that takes hold of your heart. And that heart is then filled with grace, and you want to share it, but pride becomes this wall that hinders the grace at work in us. And so if we're going to deal with our pride, the beauty is that when we start dealing with the pride, that the grace that's already in us has a chance to be fully released. Because this is what Jesus said, and it's really kind of I find it a very challenging passage. It's part of the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5. He says, I tell you this, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, hand over your coat as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. Okay. That's a hardship, right? Now, I'm going to suggest that I don't understand all the implications of that passage, but I do think that it raises the bar, doesn't it? It just kind of raises the bar on what my response needs to be in the middle of a harsh world. And one of it is that I need to deal with whatever it is that keeps me from being closer to that. Now, let me be clear on this. I am not suggesting that that means we just say, it doesn't matter if people are unkind. Like, we should just let people roll over us. I'm not suggesting that. But what I am saying is that there is a way of Christ that allows graciousness to be flowing from us in a way that truly can change the world if we allow God to do a work on our pride. And so what I'm going to suggest, and I'm going to kind of build a case for this for the remaining time together, is that I believe that our pride is manifested in 3 primary ways. And I'm not going to suggest these are the only ways or that this is the only thing at work, but I am going to say that I think for each one of us, if we're going to get serious about dealing with pride, we're going to have to look at these 3 things. And the way that I'd like us to imagine it is that it's like a wall over our hearts. Like there's a wall that's kind of been protecting us. It's kind of a wall that we've created so that we're not hurt by the world. But it's also the wall that keeps the grace that's within our hearts at bay. And so it requires like our taking one brick out at a time in order to let the grace that is within us to be shared with the world. And so the 3 manifestations are this. Number 1, we have in our pride the pedestal. Pride shows itself as a pedestal. It is the air of superiority. It's that thing inside us that says, I know more. I'm better than you. And maybe even subtly we think, it's my way or the highway. We all, in certain situations, especially when we are being attacked and hearing stuff from the world, we kind of get our dyers up and we're like, ugh. And that's why Paul says in Romans 12:3, don't think yourself better than you are. Be honest in your evaluation of yourselves. Measure yourself by the faith that God has given you. You know what I think is behind this tendency towards feeling like we're superior is actually the opposite. We feel insecure. Like we feel less than, and therefore we have to puff ourselves up, make ourselves bigger than we are in order to let nobody find out how insecure we feel. And one of the beauties of being able to say, hey, I'm not going to live that way. I'm not going to do that kind of thing. I'm going to say, all right, hey, I'm going to learn to be okay in the same way that Paul describes here in Romans 12. Because you notice what Paul says. He says having an accurate assessment of yourself. It's not like what we often think. Think less of yourself, you're a nobody, you're a nothing. That's not what Paul is saying. He's saying instead, hey, understand you have a way about you. You have a personhood that's of value. Just don't make yourself bigger than you are. Take the brick of superiority and set it aside. Get off the pedestal. Here's how I think it plays out for me, at least. Pride says, I'm right and you are wrong. Graciousness says, we both need mercy. One of the things that happens when you deal with pride is the old adage becomes really clear to you that all ground is level at the foot of the cross. Every single one of us need grace. So that's the first manifestation of pride. Second manifestation, the second block I want to talk about is the shield. This is about saving face. We keep this block in place because we're afraid that if we look weak or we admit we're faulty, that we will lose our influence. So this is all about defensiveness, right? So the pedestal is all about trying to prove that we're right. This is about the other side of that equation where we feel defensive. You know, one of the things I've noticed is that as a pastor, and maybe you feel this even as a Christian in the workplace, is that if you admit you might not have everything together, you're going to lose credibility. And so we kind of have to keep our defenses up. Like I have to keep my mask in place. I have to make sure that I look as though I have it all together. I can never show a weakness. I can never admit a fault. Because if I do, then people will say, oh, and I thought you were a Christian. But you know what I've discovered? The opposite is actually true. When you are willing to admit you have some faults, if you're willing to say, hey, I don't have it all figured out either, you don't lose credibility, you gain it. People are like, oh, like it's okay to admit that you aren't all perfect and you have everything. Yeah, I don't. And there's something beautiful about being able to say, like out loud, I didn't get that right. I'm sorry. I should have done better on that. And all of a sudden, right, the shield comes down, the defensiveness comes down. I think this is the outplaying of what James talked about. God opposes the proud, but he shows favor to the humble. And then third is the gavel. The final block is maybe the most challenging of all because it is about the willingness to relinquish control. It's about freeing yourself from the exhaustion of having to try and make sure everybody else gets it right. Now, it's interesting to me when we start dealing with these various blocks, if we deal with the need to feel superior and we deal with this need to defend our reputation, all of a sudden this last block, if we really are kind of working through those processes, we can start experiencing the not yet fully realized grace that gives us a reason to change the atmosphere. It gives us a reason to be able to say, you know what, I don't have to be the final arbiter of all this. I can put this in God's hands. I think that was James' point in James 4:12. There's only one lawgiver and judge, the one who is able to save and destroy. But who are you to judge your neighbor? In fact, setting aside the gavel is, I think, in some ways, the most tenacious act of trust. Because it frees you from the exhaustion to having to prove that you're right and everyone else is wrong, so that your focus can be on giving favor and graciousness when that is what the world desperately needs. So what does this one look like? Pride says, I need to prove that they are wrong. I need to make sure that they got it right. And graciousness says, I trust God to be the judge. You see, when we are effective and we are tenacious about pulling these blocks aside to say, I'm going to do some serious business dealing with the pride in my life. I'm going to pull that side. We're going to pull this aside. I'm going to pull that side. You know what happens? We are fully released at that point to give the grace that the world is desperately longing for. And it changes everything. It's like it becomes that attraction factor where people say, I want what you have. There's something about the way you are in the world. It's so attractive to me. And you find yourself saying, well, it's not really me. It's this grace that God has put in my heart that I feel responsible to sharing with the world. In 1947, Corrie ten Boom was traveling through Germany. She was preaching on the necessity of forgiveness. And after a service that she gave in Munich, she saw a man making his way to her through the crowd, and she recognized him instantly. He wasn't just any man. He was one of the cruelest guards at the prisoner of war camp where she was housed during World War II. He was a man that stood at the showers. I want you to imagine this, mocking the prisoners. And as he approached Corrie at the end of this service, all her preaching felt hollow. Her heart froze, and the man reached out his hand and said, a fine message, Fräulein. How good it is to know that, as you say, all our sins are at the bottom of the sea. And then he told her that since the war, he had become a Christian. And he knew he had done horrible things. And he was there to ask for her forgiveness. Now, I want you to imagine this moment. Because right there in that moment, Corrie had to do what I've been challenging us to do. She had to take block by block by block of her pride in order to let the grace flow to this man. Think about it. She had to start by dismantling her air of superiority. Because in that moment, she felt morally superior. She was the victim. He was the monster. And she had to realize in that moment that she too was actually a sinner. And that she needed the same grace that she had just been preaching about. She had to step off the pedestal of the righteous Savior to stand on the ground of shared brokenness. And then she had to deal with the shield of defensiveness. Because she was this famous speaker on forgiveness. She had a reputation to uphold. If she refused to forgive him, she would be seen as a hypocrite. So she had to set aside her shield because she also felt like if she appeared weak, she would hurt those who had suffered alongside of her. And so she had to admit in that moment, Lord, I can't do this in my own strength. And so she prayed a simple prayer right there in that moment. Lord, I cannot forgive him. Give me your forgiveness. And then finally, she had to set aside the gavel of judgment because she had every legal, moral right to judge him. She really did hold the gavel over his life. And she had to realize that she had to lay it down. And by choosing to thrust her hand into his, that one toxic memory of tragedy and hurt was transformed into radical redemption. Later, she wrote about the experience in this way. She said, I've never known God's love so intensely as I did then. Forgiveness is an act of the will, and the will can function regardless of the temperature of the heart. So, friends, we've talked today about this wall of pride. And we've looked at the pedestal of superiority, the shield of our defensiveness, the gavel of our judgment. And at the same time, I think we all have this core desire to be the gracious influence in the world that the world desperately needs. And so in this closing moment of the service, I'm going to ask you to do your own business with God. My guess is that as I've been talking about this, there's been some things come to mind, like maybe some relationships, some issues, some challenges, where you realize, you know what, I wasn't as gracious as I could have been. I let pride get in the way. And so Galen's going to sing a song, and as normally we'll stand and sing the song, but I'm going to invite you just to kind of sit in your seat and read the words as they're sung. And let it wash over you. Let it become a kind of prayer for you, where this becomes like a stake you put in the ground, and you say, okay, Lord, I hear you. I hear what you're saying to me. I'm ready to do some business with you. Help me, because this is going to be hard. But in the same way that Corey talked about what a release it was to be able to do what she did in that moment, maybe you'll discover the same in this moment. So, Lord, do your good work.
Well, I can't believe what she said, and I can't believe what he did. Oh, don't they know it's wrong? Don't they know it's wrong? Yeah. Well, maybe there's something I missed. How could they treat me like this? It's wearing out my heart, the way they disregard it. Oh, this is love. This is hate. We all have a choice to make. Oh, Father, won't you forgive them? They don't know what they've been doing. And oh, Father, give me grace to forgive them, 'cause I feel like the one losing. It's only the dead that can live, but still I wrestle with this, to lose the pain that's mine 70 times 7 times, yeah. Lord, it doesn't feel right for me to turn a blind eye, but I guess it's not that much when I think of what you've done, yeah. This is love. This is hate, and we've got a choice to make, yeah. Father, won't you forgive them? They don't know what they've been doing. And oh, Father, give me grace to forgive them. 'Cause I feel like the one loser. Oh no. Why do we think that hate's gonna change their heart? We're up in arms over wars, don't need to be fought. Pride won't let us lay weapons on the ground. We build our bridges up just to burn them down. Say we think pain's old apologies and then it will stop. Truth be told, it doesn't matter if they're sorry or not. Freedom comes when we surrender to the sound of freedom in your grace. Father, send your angels down, sing, oh, Father, won't you forgive them? They don't know what they've been doing. Oh no. Oh, Father, give me grace to forgive them. 'Cause I feel like the one losing. Yeah, I feel like I've been losing. Oh, Father, give me grace to forgive them. 'Cause I feel like the one losing. Yeah, I feel like I've been losing. Oh, Father, give me grace to forgive them. 'Cause I feel like the one losing.
You know, sometimes we're like, I'm not sure I wanted to be here today. 'Cause this is a hard truth, friends, isn't it? Because everything inside us wants to rise up and say, yeah, but. I get it. I get it. And so I find myself saying, probably with many of you, Lord, give me the grace to be gracious. May the grace that you have so generously bestowed in my heart be released. May I be courageously gracious when everything inside of me wants to get even. Raise my fist. I'm right. And so, Lord, as a congregation, we come before you today. And we want to start by saying thank you for your grace that has forgiven us so much. And we are living in a world that desperately needs for your followers to be greater, like, relinquishers of the grace that has been so generously bestowed upon us. And we're not going to get it all right. But maybe this week, maybe in this situation, maybe in this relationship that we're thinking of, Lord, maybe we can grow in it and know the joy of becoming a little bit more gracious. By your strength and by your power. And all who agreed said, amen. Amen. All right, a few things before we go. Remember, you have one final act of worship, which is your giving today. You can do that in a variety of ways online. You can do it at the doors on your way out of the room. But let's remember to honor God with our giving. We also have people in a prayer room that are more than happy to pray with you if there's something more deliberate going on in your life. And don't forget to invite a friend. Join us again next week. God bless you. Thanks for being here.